Actually, in fact, it's interesting that you brought up Waze because I think it just came out on the news today that Selangor also did partner with Waze as well. Maybe you guys can shed some light. We have some members from the MDI.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, do I need to sign?
Oh, no, you can.
Yeah, okay. It's actually at the very early stage right now, whereby we are thinking to all these local councils.
Right.
And
I'm giving the microphones. No, just stay there, stay there. Come on, we are doing while we are creating.
It's
Just,
very
yeah.
organic, right?
Exactly.
Is this already? Okay, all right. We just had some meetings with all this local council, and we are looking into one issue first for the moment, which is garbage collection, waste collection, whereby the people can actually complain. No, sorry, not the garbage, the potholes. I'm so sorry. Sorry. Yeah. So basically, they can immediately lodge a complaint, and the complaint will be sent to the command center, which is the local council, and they will notify whether it's actually a JKR road or the state road, and they will also inform, and they have to clean it up. They have to just fix it within 5 to 7 days. We are still discussing. Yeah.
I think that's great, right? I mean, it goes in line with what Renato mentioned about co-creation. So ultimately, this, I believe it goes to the city councils at zero cost as well. That's great. So
And back to that, and back to the example of Waze. Now Waze has a department just for cities, you know. So they are monetizing on it as well. There is no free lunch, but it's the way who starts first the partnership takes the best advantage.
I think everybody wins in an arrangement.
Definitely.
And especially for our cars, we definitely win, right? So actually, my first two questions has already been sufficiently answered by you. I wanted to ask you, how do you define smart city? I think you've quite well defined what a smart city is. And I just want to quickly go to your point about urbanization. Right now in Malaysia, I think the latest statistics from World Bank is that 75% of Malaysians actually live in cities. And in 2050, I believe World Bank actually said it will be 90% of Malaysians. So I'm sure in the cities you've worked with, you've also come across a lot of cities with this kind of urban sprawl. So what examples can you share with us so that Malaysian cities can also deal with this urban sprawl issue as well?
Well, again, I mean, it's also a matter to start thinking about smart village. Otherwise, we cannot host every. I mean, it's just physical. Since ever the physics, we cannot put two bodies in the same place. You know, I mean, we cannot fold our facilities and our structure in the sense that we can get everybody. So I think it's really important to work in a balanced way that you can keep living well people in the city, but also avoiding this migration. Actually, in some cities, in Asia, we see what we call the ghost cities. In China now we have a lot of farmers with ghost cities, but in Europe we have already some movement back to the small cities, you know. But again, it's a matter of creating an environment that people feel like. I mean, with all technology we have nowadays, we can feel cosmopolitan even living in a small city. I'm sure that now in Italy, in that small city, my son is following me. My son is 6 years old, and he used to watch me in Skype, and so it's easy to get connection. Smart city nowadays, what I saw around the world is that when I come to talk to a mayor, let's talk about smart city. Okay, I will call my secretary of transportation, for example. Okay, so I know that the main problem is mobility. So for him, smart city is mobility. But we need now to see the big picture. What was happening before is, so we solve one problem, putting a lot of efforts in just one area, and then when someone asks me, or a mayor, do you think I have a smart city? I was 2 days ago in the cocktail with the mayor of Melbourne. Same question. Think you have a smart city? Ask your citizens. If they feel like living in a smart city, you have a smart city. But you know, it's not what you are delivering only, but it's also the perception what citizens are getting from. So, and as we go, we're the e-government organization. We do a lot of e-government. E-governance is really important. These citizens' participation in transparency, this is really important. So I think smart city, it's much more all this feeling that people has when they live in a place. And what we see now is that these cities that have been investing in smart cities now are becoming also to be better places to live and recognized. Melbourne, for example, I was giving this example before starting. They are doing a lot of projects, but there was a project that caught my attention. I saw technology around the world, but there they had a problem. Maintenance for trees. Wow, 7,000 trees. It was very expensive to keep the teams rounding around to checking the trees. So, simple idea. Let's give an email to the tree, put the email there, and then if someone see a problem in the tree, send an email to that email, we'll come to City Hall, we solve the problem. Citizens start sending love emails. Oh, I love you. You're very important to when my kid was a child. Blah, blah. A lot of, so there was an engagement. The society was engaging with the trees through this email. And you see, this is a nice place to live, isn't it? Come on, don't take me wrong. I'm not a romantic guy. I do this for money. Well, there are a lot of money to do in smart cities just because all the problems we solve, they are related to a big cost. Mobility in the United States costs $121 billion a year. Whatever you solve, it's already paid. So, but if you don't take citizens as the center, and if you don't try really to make life better, it doesn't work. So we saw a lot of projects that failed just because of this. It was the idea of the city hall, what was better to the city, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, I think it's a great point, right? Because at the end of the day, sometimes we see examples of city that's kind of implementing new technology or creating very innovative urban design for the sake of vanity. But at the end of the day, it's really about the citizen. And I guess, in the case of Melbourne, was it? The fact that the person say, I love my mayor, I think that's quite an achievement.
And I love my tree. Can you imagine it? You declare publicly. It was in the Guardian journal. They published one whole letter, email that was sent to the tree. And again, it's really a deep perception that we are living in a better place. And what I believe, and Europe has a very big problem that we get so used to do projects based in public grants. So we spend more time writing a project to get the fund and then do a project than to think about, first of all, economic sustainability of the project. Is it sustainable economically? I mean, when the public money finish, the city will survive, or the project will survive alone. And the second one, and this works a lot to Asia. Come on, the money to do smart cities is private money. Companies are struggling to get more consumers. It's just a matter how to sell well the pitch of your city. Another example, New York City, I was there February this year, checking. They are changing all the public phones in New York City for Wi-Fi kiosks. It's a kiosk, it's a totem with a billboard. That is the business. It's a billboard for advertisement. So they give free Wi-Fi for the citizens. Also, you can do a free call for whatever place in the States if you want. Okay? And then I got really astonished when I was in Korea. I got free Wi-Fi on the streets, 25 mega. Yeah. Wow, 25 mega. Wow. I was in New York. And then I was really proud to tell the guys, look, they must come to Korea to see how it is there. 25 mega. The guy said, okay, do you have that app to test? Okay, do it in your app, just not be my app. 216 mega, 200 free Wi-Fi on the streets. You know how much it costs to New York? Zero, nothing. It was a PPP. They gave the concession to change the mobiles, to put it the totem. No free lunch. Totems are doing advertisement. But in the next 10 years, the company will pay back its royalties. So probably they are estimating to pay back to New York, or to give to New York in royalties, $500 million for free for the citizens, free calls, astonishing internet, and still getting paid to do this, the cities. So what I tell cities now is, come on, rethink the pitch of the competitive advantage of your city. And then you can have a big business behind public wealth, because in the end it returns as a better life,
I think that's a good point, right? I mean, governments don't always have to be the one dumping in the money. So if you're talking about a PPP model like this, I guess, the private organizations I think as citizens, if I were to get like that speed of Wi-Fi, I would win as well. I'd be really happy about it. So kind of a win-win situation. I just want to quickly go back to one thing you mentioned earlier about smart village. So that's a more of a decentralized model of going out of the city. So I think in Malaysia we're also doing some smart village programs as well. So maybe you can share with us like what does a smart village look like, and you know some examples that we've come across.
Smart
Village.
Okay, well, let's think about my city. My city is not a, well, I can say that it's a village. It's a 4,000 inhabitants in Italy. And, well, they had, we have problems. And this was my last video in my video blog. I call it smart pet. And we have problems with the pets on the street. And you have no idea how big is the problem in countries like the United States. We have 8 million dogs. England, United States, 7 million. England, 8 million dogs. You know how much poop we have on the streets, and how 1 gram of dog poop can have 23 million bacteria. So, wow, it's a problem. Okay, our city there in Italy, quite in a, well, we don't have a smart city plan yet there, but they had an area, public area, that it was, I mean, not used because it was in the industrial area. And by the city planning, it was supposed to be a park. So they did a PPP with the NGO that takes care of dogs, and then they created there a dog park. And then, finally, it became the largest dog park in whole Italy, maintained by this NGO. So the NGO invested, you know how much the NGO invested? 6,000 euros, nothing. They did a dog park. So you have 2 areas. One area, then watch the video there, it's online already in the Smart City magazine. So one area is for free, people that wants to go just there for the dog to do the needs. Then the other one, it's like really a dog park with all the agility lanes and everything. The citizens can have training for the dog for a very, few money, and they pay an annual fee of 50 euros only. And they even don't need to be collecting, they have people to do this there. So, you know, very simple, really high impact, because dogs are not anymore on the streets. Use the area that was probably costing money to the government, was not used, but you must maintain the area. And now, so you see small things that you can do that, and then I saw a lot of projects, for example, now popping up in India. And the first thing, and that was the bad thing about my city in Italy, I didn't know, how can it be that my father-in-law was 10 years mayor of the city. Now the mayor of my city is the mother-in-law of my kid. And I told her, look, I didn't know this. So, you know, it's not my fault, it's your fault. We are not communicating. And again, it's not what you're doing, but also how citizens are perceiving. And as more you perceive, more you get happy, and then you don't want to migrate. And that's smart village. In India now, the first thing that they are doing, and it's really the way to do it, first investment for a city, very small investment, do the app. Do the city, what I call city listens app for people to start, but people will start complaining, right? Well, they will complain about a problem that even if you don't hear they complaining, if you're management, they are still complaining, but you cannot solve the problem. If they complain, at least you know what is the problem, and you can go there and solve the problem. And it's really naive to think that they are not complaining. They are not complaining in the app, they're complaining in Facebook, even worse. They're complaining to the whole world. So there is still this, you know, narrow mind, traditional way to think in politics that, well, as less we know, less responsibility we have. It's not true. But come on, it's a disruption. Cities are a political entity. It's not a rational entity. So the decisions, most part of the times, are not rational. But I think that's the way we are changing, and again, make also better to live in the countryside. It's not everybody that is moving, migrating, is looking for food or looking for jobs. They are also looking for a better life in all the sense. And this new cosmopolitan modern life is fancy. Everybody wants to have it. So if you can bring this to your city, well, and again, go to PPPs. I heard a very nice concept now in Australia. It's public, private, people partnership. Wow, people partnership. Yeah, put people on it, and then it works a lot. You know, then you go to another one. Another thing that makes a lot of sense for me. So I work with the governments. Basically, looking for investment. So I'm advisor for investment, international investment attraction. We are really talking about crowdfunding nowadays, right? Everything's crowdfunding. Why not do smart city crowdfunding? I mean, I would like to invest in a company that would make my life better. It's good. I know the result that it impacts directly in my life, and I'm also a shareholder of this company. Makes sense, isn't it?
Better life, better finances.
And it's still business, you know. So I think that's another way to create funds, make funds to do smart cities.
I think that's an interesting consideration for a lot of the authorities. But I really like the example about the dog park, right? Because sometimes, you know, we talk about what's fancy, what's cool, but something simple like this, I think, can really change a lot of lives. Because after all, when we live in city, we want to have a good public space to spend time with the family, and I think that's a pretty cool idea.
Come on, guys, just see the example. Look there.